What's going on, everybody? This is Demetrius Harris, your DAC funding broker. And on this channel, I help business owners get access to funding in all types of industries. If you own a restaurant and you are trying to decide between equipment financing and working capital, this video is for you. Before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more funding content. Hey y'all, let's get into it. A lot of restaurant owners know they need funding, but they are not always sure which type of funding makes the most sense. Maybe you need kitchen equipment, refrigeration, ovens, fryers, prep tables, or POS systems. Or maybe you need help with payroll, inventory, rent, utilities, and day-to-day cash flow. In this video, I'm going to break down the difference between restaurant equipment financing and working capital, how each one works, what lenders usually look for, and which option may be better depending on your business situation. Let's start here. A lot of restaurant owners make the mistake of thinking all funding is the same. It is not. The type of capital you choose matters. If you use the wrong funding product for the wrong purpose, it can create more pressure on your business. That is why understanding the difference between equipment, financing, and working capital is so important. Restaurants have tight margins, constant overhead, and daily expenses, so making the right funding decision can help protect your cash flow and strengthen your operation. Running a restaurant takes money. You have payroll, rent, utilities, food costs, inventory, repairs, maintenance, marketing, software, and vendor payments. On top of that, many restaurants need expensive equipment like ovens, grills, fryers, refrigerators, freezers, dishwashers, prep stations, ice machines, and POS systems. So when a restaurant owner needs funding, the first question should not just be, can I get money? The real question should be, what type of money makes the most sense for what I need? Let's talk about equipment financing. Equipment financing is designed specifically to help a business buy equipment without paying the full cost up front. In a restaurant, this may include kitchen equipment, refrigeration systems, cooking equipment, prep equipment, beverage machines, or even certain technology systems. Instead of draining your operating cash to buy everything at once, equipment financing helps spread those costs over time. That can protect cash flow while allowing you to get the tools your restaurant needs now. Let's talk about working capital. Working capital is more flexible. This type of funding is used for day-to-day business needs. That can include payroll, inventory, food costs, rent, utilities, marketing, repairs, vendor payments, and general operating expenses. Working capital is not tied to one specific purchase the way equipment financing usually is. It gives restaurant owners more freedom to use the funds where their business needs the most. So what is the biggest difference between equipment financing and working capital? Equipment financing is usually tied to buying a specific asset. Working capital is usually meant to support daily operations and short-term business needs. Equipment financing helps you buy something tangible that supports production and service. Working capital helps you manage cash flow and keep the restaurant moving. That is the real separation. There are situations where equipment financing may clearly be the better option. If you need a new oven, freezer, ice machine, fryer, dishwasher, grill, or other major equipment purchase, equipment financing may make more sense. Why? Because it is built for that purpose. It may help you preserve cash flow, match payments to the useful life of the equipment, and keep your working capital available for other operating needs. If the funding need is clearly tied to equipment, this may be the stronger route. There are also situations where working capital may be the better option. If your main issue is payroll, food, inventory, rent, vendor bills, utilities, marketing, or general operating pressure, working capital may make more sense. Why? Because the need is broader and more flexible. If you need money to keep the business moving across multiple areas, working capital usually fits that need better than equipment financing. Sometimes the answer is not one or the other. Sometimes a restaurant may need both. You may need a new freezer or fryer, but you may also need extra cash flow for payroll, inventory, and daily expenses. That is why restaurant owners need to look at the full picture. What exactly is the money for? Is it one equipment purchase? Is it general business pressure? Or is it both? The answer to that question helps determine the right strategy. Now, let's talk about what lenders usually look for, whether it is equipment financing or working capital. Lenders often review things like time in business, monthly revenue, cash flow, bank activity, existing debt, and personal credit profile. The full business picture matters. They want to know if the restaurant is active, generating revenue, and stable enough to support the funding. Some products may weigh certain factors differently, but overall, the business still needs to look strong enough to make sense. A lot of restaurant owners assume the decision is always about credit. Credit does matter, but it is not always the only factor. Revenue matters, deposits matters, bank activity matters, time in business matters. If a restaurant is showing real business activity and solid revenue, there may still be options available, even if credit is not perfect. That is why the full business profile matters so much. One big mistake restaurant owners make is using the wrong product for the wrong need. For example, using flexible operating capital for a major long-term equipment purchase may not always be the best fit if equipment financing could have been used instead. Another mistake is waiting too long and only looking at funding once the restaurant is already under pressure. Other mistakes include not knowing monthly revenue, mixing personal and business finances, having too many overdrafts, and not being clear on what the funds are actually for. One of the best things about equipment financing is that it helps protect operating cash. Instead of tying up a big amount of cash in one purchase, the restaurant can spread that cost out over time. That can be extremely important because restaurants still have daily expenses that do not stop. If you spend too much cash up front on equipment, you may leave yourself too tight in other parts of the business. Equipment financing can help reduce that risk. One of the biggest advantages of working capital is flexibility. In a restaurant, problems do not usually hit one at a time. You may have payroll pressure, food inventory pressure, utility bills, repairs, and vendor payments all at once. Working capital gives you the ability to respond to those moving parts. That flexibility can be valuable when the real issue is operations, not just equipment. Let's say your restaurant needs a new walk-in cooler and the old one is hurting storage and food quality. That is a clear equipment need. Equipment financing may make more sense because the money is tied to a specific asset that supports operations and revenue. In that situation, using equipment financing may help preserve your daily operating cash while still solving the problem. Now, let's say your equipment is fine, but payroll is tight, inventory costs are rising, and utilities are stacking up. That is not just one purchase. That is a broader cash flow issue. In that case, working capital may make more sense because it gives the restaurant owner flexibility to use the funds where the pressure is greatest. Now, let's say your restaurant needs a new fryer and also needs more breathing room for payroll and food inventory. In that case, the need is not just one thing. You may need equipment, financing for the fryer, and working capital for the operation. This is why it is important not to oversimplify the decision. The right move depends on the real problem inside the business. So, which option is better? The honest answer is this: the better option depends on what the restaurant actually needs. If the need is a specific piece of equipment, equipment financing may be better. If the need is broader daily operation and cash flow, working capital may be better. If the restaurant needs both equipment and flexibility, then both may be part of the strategy. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. The better option is the one that matches the real business need. Restaurant owners should think about funding strategically. Do not just ask what you can get, ask what problem you are trying to solve. Are you trying to buy an asset? Are you trying to manage operations? Are you trying to create breathing room? Are you trying to grow? The clearer you are on the purpose of the money, the easier it is to choose the right product. If you want to improve your approval odds, keep your deposits consistent. Separate business and personal finances. Reduce overdrafts and negative bank activity. Know your average monthly revenue. Be clear on what the funding will be used for. Keep your records organized and do not wait until your restaurant is already in a full crisis before exploring options. Preparation matters. Now, at the end of the day, restaurant equipment financing and working capital both have value. The key is understanding what each one is designed to do. Equipment financing is usually better for major equipment purchases. Working capital is usually better for flexible business expenses and cash flow support. The better choice depends on what your restaurant actually needs right now. If you own a restaurant and you are trying to decide between equipment financing and working capital, check the link in the description to see what options may be available for your business. And make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more funding content. And once again, this is Demetrius Harris, your DAC funding broker, and I will see you in the next video.